Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a closer look at artificial intelligence, specifically where it stands right now in 2025.
Yeah, it's quite the topic. We pulled together some really interesting insights.
Absolutely. And it paints this picture of just incredibly rapid evolution, how much AI is becoming part of, well,
It
everything.
really is. It feels like just yesterday it was mostly theory, but now it's everywhere. It impacts our daily tech, the global economy, you name it.
And the scale is just staggering. I mean, the global AI market is already valued at, what, over $390 billion?
hmm And the projections suggest it could multiply like 5 times in the next few years.
It's that kind of growth, you just can't ignore it. So our mission today really is to dig into what's driving all this, what's actually happening.
And what the key things are for you, the listener, to understand.
Exactly. We've looked at broad overviews, the general AI landscape, but also some more focused stuff on AI agents, their evolution and impact.
Right. Those are becoming increasingly important.
So let's dive in. First things first, how are we defining AI in 2025? What's the core idea now?
Well, fundamentally, it's still about machines simulating human intelligence. Tasks like understanding speech, making decisions, solving problems.
The basics haven't changed entirely then?
The core idea, no. But what's different is the level of sophistication. It's just so much more advanced now.
Oh.
And accessibility, too.
Right, and how deeply it's integrated into everything. It's not just in labs anymore.
Precisely. And that $390 billion market figure you mentioned, with that projection of five-fold growth, it really shows AI is a massive economic force now.
Yeah, that annual growth rate, over 37% between 2022 and 2030. That's huge.
And the U.S. market alone is forecasted to hit nearly $300 billion by 2026. It's a tidal wave, really.
Okay, so besides the money, what about the tech itself? You mentioned sophistication. What are the big leaps?
One of the most striking things is efficiency. Yeah. Models are getting, well, smaller, cheaper to run, but smarter at the same time.
Smaller but smarter. How does that work?
Think about Paul M. back in 2022. Huge model, 540 billion parameters. Parameters are kind of like a measure of complexity, right?
Got it. So big number equals complex.
Exactly. Now compare that to Microsoft's Phi 3 money from just this year, 2024. Only 3.8 billion parameters. Tiny in comparison.
Okay, much smaller. But performance.
That's the amazing part. Phi 3 mini scored over 60% on the MMLU benchmark. That's a standard test for language understanding. Similar performance to much bigger models.
Wow. So that's a, 142-fold reduction in size?
Yep. And that's huge because it makes AI way more accessible. It democratizes it.
How so? Smaller means?
Smaller means less computing power needed. You can run these models on more devices, maybe even your phone eventually, or integrate them into appliances, things we haven't even thought of yet.
Okay, that makes sense. More places, more uses. And you mentioned cost, too.
Oh, yeah. The cost drop is dramatic.
Yeah.
To get performance like, say, GPT 3.5 back in late 2022, it cost maybe 20 per $1 million tokens.
Tokens being like words or parts of words?
Roughly, yeah. But the AI processes. Now, fast forward to late 2024. That cost is down to 7 cents.
7 cents from $20.
Yeah, a 280-fold decrease. It just removes massive barriers.
So what does that mean practically for businesses or individuals?
It's a total game changer. AI goes from being this expensive, maybe research-only thing to a practical tool anyone can experiment with or build into their business. It fuels adoption like crazy.
Okay, so smaller, cheaper, but also smarter, right? You mentioned reasoning.
Absolutely. The reasoning capabilities are improving fast. Models like OpenAI's O1, for example, they can tackle complex problems using logical steps, kind of like how a person would think it through.
Break it down.
Yeah, break down big problems into smaller parts.
Yeah.
This is massive for fields like science, coding,
Yeah.
Generating complex code, or comparing legal documents, handling multi-step workflows in medicine.
Right, right. And that naturally leads us to AI agents, doesn't it? These sound like more than just tools.
Definitely. They're becoming more autonomous. Think beyond just responding to a prompt.
So what is an AI agent in this 2025 context?
It's a system designed to handle complex, multi-step tasks with increasing independence. They plan, they execute, they monitor their own progress towards a goal.
So they're not just waiting for instructions.
Less and less. Tools like OpenAI's Responses API or their Agents SDK, they're making it easier to build these more autonomous systems.
Okay. And I read about Microsoft's KBLAM, too. That sounded interesting, connecting AI to knowledge bases.
Yeah, KBLAM Knowledge Base Augmented Language Model.
Right.
It's like giving the AI direct access to a constantly updated library or database.
So it doesn't have to be retrained constantly to know new things.
Exactly. It pulls in external knowledge as needed. This helps massively with accuracy and cuts down on those hallucinations where AI makes stuff up, makes them more reliable.
Which is crucial if we're using them for important tasks.
Absolutely essential.
Okay, so the tech is getting better, cheaper, smarter, more autonomous. How is this actually playing out? Are businesses really using this stuff?
Oh, absolutely. The numbers are pretty clear. In 2024, you had 78% of organizations saying they use AI. That's up from 55% just the year before.
That's a big jump in 1 year.
Huge. And generative AI specifically, 71% are using it in at least one part of their business, more than double the previous year.
Wow. So it's really becoming mainstream.
It seems so. 83% of companies now call AI a top priority. It's not experimental anymore, it's strategic.
And healthcare, too. The number of FDA-approved AI medical devices just exploded.
Yeah, from like 6 in 2015 to over 220 by 2023. It just shows how much AI is helping with diagnosis, prediction, personalizing treatment.
And doctors are actually using it.
About 38% of providers use computers in diagnostics now, so AI is definitely getting integrated into the clinical workflow.
And then there's retail. We've all seen the personalized recommendations. The Netflix stat is wild, $1 billion a year just from their AI recommendations.
It's a perfect example, isn't it? Shows how AI can directly boost the bottom line by improving customer experience. Understanding what you want leads to more sales, more engagement.
It's not just shopping either. Language translation is getting much better, right? Breaking down communication barriers.
Absolutely. Real-time AI translation is making global communication and collaboration much, much easier. Huge implications for business, for personal connections.
Okay, let's talk workplace transformation. This seems like a big one. AI automating tasks.
Yeah, estimates suggest AI could automate somewhere between 60 and 70% of the time employees spend on, routine stuff.
Freeing people up for what?
More strategic work, creative thinking, collaboration, the things humans do best. And interestingly, leaders seem pretty positive about it. About half in the US and Europe see it as a good thing.
And this is creating new jobs too, right? Not just automating old ones.
Definitely. We're looking at maybe 97 million people working in AI-related jobs by next year.
97 million. What kinds of jobs?
All sorts. You see searches for things like AI note-taking just exploding, like
Wow.
8,800% increase, or AI recruitment tools up nearly 500%. And think about tools like Otter AI transcribing meetings. They've done over 1 billion meetings. That shows how fast this stuff is being adopted in workplaces.
Okay, so AI is everywhere, but let's circle back to these AI agents. You said they're more than chatbots now. How so?
Yeah, the big shift is from reactive chatbots to more autonomous problem solvers. They can plan multiple steps, execute them, and check if they worked, often with minimal human input.
Can you give a concrete example? Like, what can they actually do?
Sure, take the legal field. AI agents can now handle a whole workflow, reviewing thousands of documents, drafting initial contracts, helping with negotiations, even predicting litigation risks. Stuff that took teams of people hours and hours.
Okay, that's way beyond just answering questions. So they're figuring out the how themselves.
Pretty much. They have better reasoning and planning skills. You give them a goal, and they figure out the best path, adapting as they go, using different kinds of data, text, images, whatever they need.
And businesses are plugging these directly into their systems, like ServiceNow or Salesforce.
Exactly. They're becoming part of the core plumbing for things like customer support, processing invoices, automating routine, but essential stuff. It lets human staff focus on trickier problems.
And sometimes these agents work together, multi-agent systems.
Yes, that's another big step. Having multiple agents coordinate, share information, tackle a problem together, it can boost productivity significantly. And humans collaborate with them too, giving feedback and oversight.
And they learn over time, get better.
Definitely. Continuous learning is key. They monitor their performance, learn from feedback, adapt to new situations. They get more effective with experience.
Voice agents are becoming more common too, right? Makes it feel more natural.
Yeah, voice is a very intuitive interface. So you have voice agents handling customer calls, providing coaching, language learning. You can often personalize them, give them names, roles.
It really sounds like having capable AI agents is becoming a competitive necessity.
It absolutely is. Pretty much every big company sees the strategic value and is either building or investigating how to use agents to boost productivity, change how work gets done, and get an edge.
But crucially, humans are still in the loop for big decisions.
That's super important to stress. Yes, while they're getting more autonomous for critical high-stakes decisions, human oversight is generally still there. Plus, lots of testing and validation is needed.
Okay, so where are we seeing the most action? Which industries are leading the charge with these agents?
Healthcare is definitely way out front. Expectations are that maybe 90% of hospitals will be using them soon.
90%? Wow. For what specifically?
Improving diagnostics, companies like Zebra Medical Vision are doing amazing work there, speeding up workflows, predictive analytics.
Makes sense. What about finance?
Finance is another huge adopter. Fraud detection, risk analysis, automating transactions. There are projections of like a 38% profitability boost by 2035 thanks to AI. I think PayPal, Amex using it for fraud prevention right now.
Retail seems obvious too. We talked about recommendations.
For sure. Retailers using agents are seeing revenue bumps. Maybe 69% of users report that. But personalization, optimizing inventory, automated customer service. Amazon's a prime example with recommendations and chatbots.
And manufacturing, how does it fit?
Predictive maintenance is a big one there, cutting downtime by maybe 40%. Also automating production steps, optimizing supply chains, big efficiency gains.
What about IT and cybersecurity? That seems critical.
Invaluable there. Agents monitoring networks 24/7, automating security responses, detecting threats in real time, providing instant tech support. Think IBM Watson for cybersecurity. Really bolsters defenses.
Customer service, legal, we touched on those.
Yeah, automating client interactions, document analysis, making workflows much smoother in both areas.
Even HR screening resumes.
Yep. AI can handle a large chunk of initial resume screening, maybe up to 75%. Makes hiring way more efficient.
And supply chains again, optimizing inventory, forecasting demand.
Right. Optimizing stock levels, predicting demand more accurately. It all adds up to smoother operations and cost savings.
Let's go a bit deeper into healthcare again. You said it's leading the way. That transformation sounds really significant.
It really is profound. Think about diagnostics. AI agents analyzing huge amounts of data scans, genetics, record spotting patterns humans might miss. That means earlier diagnosis, better outcomes.
And automating workflows beyond just diagnosis.
Exactly. Automating whole episodes of care intake, scheduling, treatment planning, follow-up. Takes a huge administrative load off clinicians, lets them focus on patients. Plus, it helps hospitals run more efficiently.
And that idea of personalized medicine, AI is making that more real.
Much more real. Agents can process data from wearables, lifestyle info, genetics, to tailor treatments specifically for you. And voice agents can help patients understand their conditions better, making them more active in their own care.
You also mentioned predictive healthcare, preventing problems before they start.
Yeah, that's a major frontier. Analyzing population data to spot risks early, recommending interventions. It could significantly reduce hospitalizations and improve long-term health.
And for the doctors and nurses using it, better decision support.
Definitely. Giving them instant access to the latest research, guidelines, insights hidden in unstructured notes. It speeds up diagnosis, improves treatment planning.
It also sounds like it helps different parts of the system talk to each other better.
Right. Facilitating data sharing between departments, or even between, say, pharma companies, insurers, and providers.
Yeah.
Creates a more connected, efficient ecosystem.
And hopefully this empowers the providers themselves, makes their jobs better.
That's the goal. Automate the tedious stuff, assist with notes, deliver insights. It should free them up for the human side of care, maybe reduce burnout, increase job satisfaction.
Okay, this is all incredibly powerful, but it leads directly to the big question, jobs. What's the impact of all this automation on the job market?
Yeah, that's the elephant in the room, isn't it? There's no question AI agents accelerate automation, especially for routine tasks.
Which sectors are most affected?
Customer service, admin support, banking, insurance, transportation. Roles with lots of predictable, repetitive work are definitely seeing the most impact first.
Some estimates for job displacement are pretty stark. Goldman Sachs mentioned potentially 300 million jobs globally.
Numbers like that get thrown around. It's hard to predict exactly, but yes, significant displacement in certain areas is expected. Even recruitment itself is changing, with AI automating HR tasks.
But it's not just displacement, right? New jobs are being created too.
Absolutely. It's crucial to remember that. We're seeing new roles emerge. AI ethicists, machine learning engineers, people who train and validate AI models. The World Economic Forum predicts nearly 40% of core skills will change by 2030.
So it's more about transformation and augmentation than just replacement.
For many roles, yes. AI takes over some tasks, making humans more productive, freeing them up for higher-level work. Skills like analytical thinking, tech literacy, creativity, adaptability become even more important.
So customer service, admin, banking, insurance, transport are most vulnerable. Which areas are more resilient?
Generally, jobs requiring complex manual dexterity, skilled trades like electricians or plumbers, roles heavy on creativity, critical thinking, and complex human interaction are less easily automated, at least for now.
This really underlines the need for upskilling and retraining, doesn't it?
Massively. Digital literacy is becoming basic literacy. Critical thinking, adaptability, those are key. We need robust retraining initiatives. And there's a growing demand for people who can lead AI projects responsibly and ethically.
Let's make this even more concrete. Can you give some more specific, real-world examples of these agents in action right now?
Sure. In customer service, think about an agent analyzing your tone of voice, realizing you're frustrated, accessing your account history and the company's policies, and proactively offering a solution.
Like a utility company agent figuring out why my bill is high and offering tips.
Exactly. Or agents processing refunds automatically, resetting passwords, resolving common tech issues without you ever talking to a human, cutting down support queues.
Okay, and healthcare examples, beyond the diagnostics we discussed.
Agents assisting surgeons in robotic procedures, providing extra precision. Automating patient intake and triage in busy emergency rooms. Creating those personalized treatment plans based on your unique data. Google had that example, diagnosing skin conditions with high accuracy.
Right. E-commerce beyond recommendations.
Placing orders for you, tracking shipments, reminding you about things left in your cart. Dynamic pricing is another one. Think Uber adjusting fares based on real-time demand. That's AI agents at work.
Manufacturing and supply chains. What are robots doing?
Agents autonomously deciding when to order more parts, scheduling production lines, selecting suppliers based on performance data, detecting low inventory, and maybe even rerouting materials. And yes, physical robots doing tasks like welding or painting, guided by AI.
Even scientific discovery, that's pretty high-level stuff.
Yeah, accelerating drug discovery by suggesting potential molecules, finding suppliers for chemicals, even placing the orders. It streamlines the R&D process incredibly.
And disaster response, using AI when things go wrong.
Assessing storm damage from drone footage, planning repair routes, communicating updates to affected customers, especially prioritizing those with special needs. It helps coordinate the chaos.
And, of course, self-driving cars. Waymo is a big one.
A classic example. Sophisticated agents constantly perceiving the environment, making split-second decisions, navigating complex city streets, and learning from every mile driven.
Finance fraud detection seems key.
Definitely. Agents monitoring millions of transactions in real time, flagging suspicious activity, automating credit analysis, processing insurance claims much faster. Fintech uses it heavily for background checks too.
And even just helping us manage our own day. Personal productivity.
Yep. Summarizing your overflowing inbox, flagging urgent emails, finding times for meetings that work for everyone. Basically, acting as a smart personal assistant to free up your time and mental space.
Okay, so bringing this all together, AI in 2025 isn't some far-off future thing. It's here, it's powerful, and it's evolving incredibly fast.
Yeah, the progress in efficiency, cost reduction, reasoning ability, it's really fueled this widespread adoption we're seeing everywhere.
That massive market growth, over $390 billion, projected to multiply, it shows it's a core economic driver now.
And businesses get it. That 83% saying it's a top priority, 78% already using it. AI is becoming a necessity, not just a nice to have.
But we also have to acknowledge the challenges, right? Ethics, regulation, bias, privacy.
Absolutely. The regulatory landscape is trying to catch up, especially at the state level, ethical issues around bias in hiring or lending, privacy concerns with surveillance, safety. These are huge priorities. People like Anthropic's CEO calling for serious risk monitoring.
And public perception varies quite a bit globally, too.
Yeah, places like China, Indonesia seem more optimistic about the benefits compared to maybe the US or Canada. It's complex.
So as we wrap up, thinking about this rapid evolution, especially the growing autonomy of AI agents, it really makes you think about the future of human roles, doesn't it?
It really does, both at work and in our personal lives.
What are those long-term implications? And maybe more importantly, what steps should we individuals, societies be taking now to navigate all this responsibly?
That's the big question to ponder, isn't it? Definitely something to think about long after this deep dive.
Indeed. Thanks for exploring all this with us today.